Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back, not going anywhere. Peace. Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available, the album, Dad, AF, 5000 BC. Hey little thing, let me light your candle, cause mama, I'm sure hard to handle now. Yes I am. Boost. Now, let me see. When was it? A few months ago, I said in a video that because of my lack of ability to get regular sponsors over on my channel, regular paying sponsors over on my channel, that I was going to start doing sponsorships of my own, of things that I really believed in, products that I really believed that I could push. And the day that I announced that, I said I wanted to thank my sponsors, Peace and Serenity. So today, okay, in a gesture of kindness, to continue to support products that I believe in, I would like to share with you that today is an unpaid sponsorship by one of my favorite products in the entire world, Poopery. And when you're a drama channel like me and on a daily basis have to deal with as much poop as I deal with, then you need as much Poopery as you possibly can get. And as you can see, I have enough Poopery to go for days and days and days. So bring on the poop, because I'm a drama channel that can handle it. All right, let's get into today's video. I do love the Poopery though so much. More. Bring it on, bring it on. Our entire bathroom drawer is just filled with Poopery, because I just keep on buying more and more and more of it. Because when you have Poopery, your poop don't stink. And I think that's what these YouTubers need to do, okay? Forget about getting out of these scandals. Forget about the gray apology sweatshirt. They just need to buy them a good bottle of Poopery and all the drama and scandal will go away. Jeffree Star ought to stock up on that stuff. All right, whoo, now I'm winded. The Poopery done taking it out of me. Let's get into today's video. Speaking of poop and Poopery, drop the poop emoji in the comment section below. No, speaking of poop and Poopery and poopers of the world, talking today about two YouTubers that I never thought I would be talking about really in the same video, and that is Nik Avocado, food, I don't know what we would call him, mukbanger of the world, and Ethan Klein from H3H3. Now, I have to tell you, whoo, I'm winded. It's hotter like a sinner in church on Sunday. And I ought to know, because she's not a Christian, gargoyles, Ouija boards. Somebody asked me last night, I did a live stream, and they said, what does your neighbor think about how loud you shout in your videos? And I was like, I don't think she cares, but I've never asked, so she can get over it. Her dog barks all day long. Anyway, so last night in my live stream, people were asking me what my opinion was about this whole situation with Ethan Klein and Nik Avocado, and on and on and on, right? And I had kind of like watched the Instagram accounts, you know, like Frenemies Room and Spill Some Tea With Me back up, and Deaf Noodles and stuff, and I kind of followed the show. I kind of followed the show as if it was like a Netflix series. Making a Murderer Season 3, Kathleen Zellner interviews Ethan Klein and Nik Avocado. Well, Nik Avocado couldn't have eaten $10,000 worth of food at McDonald's because I went through his RAV4 and there was no wrappers. Anyway, so yeah, I was following the show, the poop show as it is, that is Ethan Klein and Nik Avocado. So what happened was they had this kind of back and forth that went on, and then Ethan Klein was like, why don't you come on the show and we'll interview you. He was going to have him on H3, and to interview him on the show, right? And Nik Avocado was like, sure, but I want to have a contract. Now, Ethan Klein has mentioned this supposedly. Nik Avocado wanted a paid contract that whether he showed up or not, he would still get paid to be on the show. Remember that, that's important, okay? So all of this goes on, blah, 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 whatever. And then Nik Avocado comes out and he cancels going on the show. I think it was supposed to actually be today that he was going to go on the show, and then he said, I'm not going on the show anymore, right? But this is what he did. He went on his YouTube channel and he said, I'm not going to talk about it on here. I'm not going on the show. I'm not going on H3H3. If you want to find out why I am not going to go on the H3H3 podcast, then you need to go over to my paid Patreon, which is, I think, $24 a membership. Listen, I ain't paying that, okay? But I got all the information for you right here. I get it all. But he was like, if you want to know why I'm not going to go on the podcast, then you have to go over to my Patreon and you have to pay this $24 or whatever it is. How much is it? It says right here. You have to go over there at $24 to find out, because I put a video up over there explaining why I am not going to go on the podcast, okay? Which all of these people are calling him out and saying, this was all just a money hustle for you, okay? This whole thing of you saying that you were going to go on the podcast and then you're not going on the podcast now is a money hustle. And there were a lot of other people that got involved in this as well. Keemstar was telling Nik Avocado that he shouldn't go on the show, on and on and on. A lot of people are telling Nick that he was right. He should never have gone on the show, and a lot of it has to do with all different kinds of stuff. So here we have all these people over here siding with Nick, telling Nick, no, good choice, you shouldn't have gone on the show. And all these people over here that are like, okay, this is scummy that he is canceling at the last minute and not going on the show. And it's really scummy that he's putting up behind this paywall that you have to pay $24 to go find out why Nik Avocado canceled on Ethan Klein. Now, personally, I ain't paying no $24, okay? Like, hey, listen, I don't know about you, but that's like 2 Starbucks drinks, okay? And I would rather have 2 Starbucks drinks than have to watch any video of Nik Avocados because I just don't care about him that much, all right? I don't care to see you get in a video and eat $400 worth of French fries and fried chicken wings while you're fighting with your husband because he didn't want to screw you the night before, okay? I don't really care to watch those kind of videos while you're screaming in hysterics and all that kind of stuff. People ask me all the time why I shout so much in videos, and I'm probably shouting right now. I don't know. I can't hear very well in this ear. That's my excuse. I don't know Nik Avocado's excuse, okay? All I know is that every one of his thumbnails is like this. And he's like, my husband screams and is leaving me because I ate these French fries or something like that. I can't keep up with it, all right? So all these people last night were asking me in the live stream what my opinion was of this Nik Avocado canceling on Ethan Klein thing. And I thought, you know what, first of all, Ethan Klein, you're stupid. Okay, why would you ever sign a contract with Nik Avocado over anything, okay, where you're going to be giving him money if he doesn't show? I mean, I want to know how much he was paid. First of all, we might find out. I'm not sure. But I'm like, how much did you pay him, this fool, to be up on your show, knowing the possibility that he could cancel on you, okay? Oh, no. I'd say I'll pay you 10% now and 90% after you do the show. But what kind of contract writer is coming up with a contract where you get paid? Now, I saw that. Apparently, Ethan Klein said that. I saw that in the comment section of Deaf Noodle's thread on Instagram, and people underneath there were saying that Ethan Klein had said it in some podcast or something. I don't know about that. So anyway, that's where I'm getting my facts, folks, okay? So anyway, all these people were asking me what I thought, and I was like, well, here's the thing. I don't really understand enough of the story, and I haven't watched Nik Avocado's Patreon, and I know that everybody's like, oh, well, to do your job as a drama channel, listen, like I said, okay, I have to deal with a lot of poop in my day. Trisha Paytas is selling cars. She's so broke, okay? I can't keep up with that. Okay, I can't keep up with all this stuff. So listen, I ain't paying no $24 to watch some Nik Avocado something spread between his butt cheeks. Don't care, all right? Don't care. Don't care to see it. Don't ever want to see it, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing. You kept it behind the paywall so I don't have to see. So anyway, but I did kind of want to know what his reasoning was, though, for me to make an informed consent, right? So I happened to Google you can find anything on the Google. I love the Google so much, don't you? I Googled, why did Nik Avocado cancel Ethan Klein interview? And I thought, there is no way this is going to be up anywhere. Sure enough, it took me right to the Reddit. So over here on the Reddit, on the H3 Productions, I want to give a very special thanks to Chris over here. Chris at Chrissy Chris, said, I paid for Nik Avocado's Patreon to find out why exactly he canceled his upcoming interview with Ethan. Details inside. And I thought, well, hell, I'll just read this on video. And here's more poopery. I mean, you guys, it's just ridiculous. So I thought, well, we'll just go over here and we'll read this. Hold on, I need some lip gloss first. Woo! The problem is, you got to start with the lip gloss, because if you don't, halfway through, your lips get dry, and then you can't keep up with the poops. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll just read the excuses over here of why Nik Avocado canceled. It's all just about money for him. In fact, if you go back and you watch the clips of why Nik Avocado said he agreed to do the interview in the first place, He said, and I did see this clip, he said the only reason he was going on there was for money, and that he was just going to sit there and say, where's my check? Where's my money? The only reason he was going on the interview to begin with was for money. There was no, like, artistic integrity to it. There was no, like, actually wanting to be interviewed and whatever, right? Now, I did say in my live stream last night, somebody was like, would you go on an H3 interview if you were asked? I mean, in all honesty, if Ethan Klein called me up and said, I'd like to have you on in the podcast, I'd say, sure, can you have your mom on? Because I want to meet her too. So yes, I would go. But here's the thing, okay? And I have to believe this is part of it. Now, I know that Nik Avocado has come out and said that Ethan Klein has made certain comments, that he said something about being fat-phobic and homophobic and something like that, and that'll probably be in part of this. I don't know the specific details about that. But I have to believe that part of it is this, and I did say this in my live stream last night, that like if you were going to go as a guest on H3, right, that you're kind of at the mercy of their jokes, right? Like we've seen that happen on the Frenemies podcast with, Trisha and Ethan and other people, that you're on their show. It's kind of like, when you're on the David Letterman show back in the day, I'm like dating myself, or the Johnny Carson show, or whatever. I was going to say Billy Corgan, but he's from Smashing Pumpkins. Who's the guy that's on there now? I don't watch him, but you know who I'm talking about. So anyway, it's kind of like being on one of those shows, and you're Jimmy Kimmel, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, I don't know, 1979, love the song. Anyway, it's like they did Landslide too. Did you ever hear their version of Landslide? Take me down. I love that song so much by Fleetwood Mac. But anyway, so you're kind of at their mercy, so you could end up looking like a complete fool. And that would be my fear, right? Like if I go on the H3 podcast, I'm thinking this is going to be like so fantastic, that all these new people are going to find me and think, oh my God, Peter Monn is hilarious and want to watch me. And instead I'm sitting there and I'm like, what I mean? Like I look like complete fool. Like I'm like, I don't even know what to say in this moment. And that's the fear, I think. And the thing is, people are like, well, Nik Avocado looks like a fool anyway in most of his videos. Yes, he does. I agree with you. But he can control it, see? He can control his foolishness. He's the one that's in control of that, not Ethan Klein. And I think Nik Avocado has shown with his, all of his antics and everything that he does, that he wants to be in control of what's happening. So let's hear from Chrissy Chris what happened over here. Chrissy Chris said, I paid for Nik Avocado's Patreon to find out why exactly he canceled his upcoming interview with Ethan. Details inside. And then there's also Ethan's response here, because Ethan's come out in a video and announced and said thanks. So somebody said, this person, Chrissy Chris, said, unfortunately, I paid $24 to access to Nick's Patreon so I can learn about what happened. Here's a list of general details I got from a 21-minute video chronologically. And I just want to say to Chris, okay, thank you, whoever you are, for doing Jesus' work. I just want to say thank you for this, okay? I wouldn't recommend paying for the OnlyFans, but you do you if you want, okay? Nik Avocado, I think that's... We won't even go there. Okay. Starts off the video by saying he sent an email to Dan from H3 stating he was canceling the interview. Nick's no longer comfortable with the interview and that there's multiple reasons. Points out that all but one of his collabs with people have been super nice and respectful, but believes Ethan is only looking for a SHI to... I told you the poopery would come in. I hadn't even read this yet. Looking for a shit show and a Trisha Paytas replacement for the podcast. I'm sorry to tell you that I do not believe that Ethan Klein was looking to replace Nik Avocado. I know Nik Avocado probably believes that, but I don't believe for 1 second that Ethan was thinking that he was going to replace Trisha with Nick. No. I don't believe that one bit. So... do I think he was looking for a shit show? Oh yeah, absolutely. I think he was praying for it, That's what gets the views over there. But here's the other thing, too, that's important to note, is that, if you guys don't know, there was a huge situation that came out about 2 years ago. Most drama channels covered it. I talked about it between Nik Avocado and fellow YouTuber, mukbanger Stephanie Sue. And there was all of these allegations that Stephanie Sue said that she was afraid of Nik Avocado. And all of this stuff, you guys can go back and watch the videos. And apparently, that has come out again. And allegedly, people are saying that they think that Nick was afraid that Ethan would ask him about that, and he didn't want to go over that storyline again. So, I don't know if that's true or not. Someone said, it goes on to say, problem with no boundaries, unprofessional, specifically about Ethan talking about financials and personal accommodations publicly on YouTube and making the joke up about the M&M's request and lying that Nick initiated the contract proposal. It says there's a limit to how much he can take in regards to Ethan's humor degradation, and that his most recent HGTV video was the deciding factor for the cancellation. Okay, so Ethan has done a lot of videos where he is coming out and saying, like, Nick this and Nick that. Basically, it's all been marketing to, and he's done a lot of all this kind of stuff, tweets and whatever. Basically marketing because Nick's coming on the show, okay? Like, it's interesting because Nik Avocado says you have to be an adult to buy his Patreon, but apparently he doesn't live in an adult world where you realize that a lot of this is marketing for this podcast that's coming up, this interview, right? Okay. It says there's a limit to how much he can take in regards to Ethan's humor degradation, and that his most recent H3 TV video was a deciding factor. Okay, for the cancellation. Doesn't believe Ethan can make fun of his fatness and gayness and belittle him. Had issue with the podcast talking about his OnlyFans day one, making a point how if he were a woman, they wouldn't be talking about him like that. Maybe, I don't know. States he did not plan to cancel, explaining he was thinking of going for 2 weeks and collab with friends before this. Okay. Goes on a small rant about viewership drop on his videos about Ethan on his channel, claiming his audience doesn't seem to care for Ethan. Okay? Doesn't have much to gain from this, and that Ethan overstates the exposure he will receive from the interview, claiming he would have seen an effect by now. Well, what's interesting to me about this is, if it is true that the only reason he was going on there from his own mouth was for the financial gain, okay, but then there was a contract in place saying that he was going to make the money anyway, then he doesn't lose anything by not doing the interview. Then the reason for the interview was just getting paid, and he's getting, is that true? I mean, I don't know. Like, that's what I heard. So, I guess we'll find out. Oh, here it is. He says, he's not taking any money, and the contract proposal is only if the podcast canceled due to an emergency after Nick arrives to California. Oh, so that's interesting. So he's not making any money off this, except for the $24 that people have to pay to go find the reason why he's not. And you have to remember, okay, that a lot of people that might be paying for Nik Avocado to tell why he's not going to be on the podcast are people that follow Ethan Klein and H3 that don't previously follow Nik Avocado, okay? So what he's thinking is, this might be a new audience to my Patreon that's going to pay for 1 month at least. January, worst AdSense month of the year, okay? It's like you go from December, which is real great because holidays, ads, and all that kind of stuff, to the worst month of the year. He's probably thinking, okay, if I could get 1,000 new people, that's $24,000 that I can make in January, pay my bills a little bit. Okay. Nick, hold on a second. Nick says part of it may be insecurities, doesn't feel comfortable putting himself in a situation where people will degrade him about his weight and sex work, even if they're paying him. I understand that, totally. Talks about Olivia and how he only feels bad about canceling because of her, seems appreciative of her as a fan, hopes her fight was refundable, but that he is ultimately can't mix emotions with business. Has never had to get asked questions about his weight, sex work, etc., and have to answer to it and to see them make fun of it. And you know what, that is interesting. I mean, that's basically what he has bankrolled off of for years, but he's been the one that has been in control of that and has never had to talk about it, answer to it in an interview for him. I think that would be scary. I can't understand why he would want to do that. I don't understand why at the initial point of this interview being organized that you wouldn't think to yourself, I don't want to do that. So, I get that. Kind of gets weird and a bit hard to understand here, but points out his lawsuits, although he points out that they're just unjust. How there's drama with Ethan, and not to get him started with some of the comments he makes about society, pop culture, trendy stuff, like he's someone who thinks trigger warning is effective. He's one of those people who use trigger warnings before saying something. I just don't like him. Says that that's all he'll say about that because he doesn't like to get political. Okay? This part's funny, they say. Starts ranting about the guy Ethan podcasts with. Mispronounces Hassan's name about 8 times and how he annoys the F out of him. These people are so annoys the F out of me. That's not Ethan's fault, but not sure what he's referring to exactly here, but I'll assume hopefully it's about politically far left entertainers. Then goes on to say, moves on, acknowledges paywalling the explanation video was trashy, but that it's a trashy profession. Reiterates most points already listed, how it's not worth going into a lion's den, and how most of Ethan's stans don't like him. And that's what I really think it's about. I really think it's about Nik Avocado being afraid of going into the lion's den. Afraid of going into a situation where he can't say, get up and get out, like Trisha did, and just walk out and say, I'm done. This interview's over. I'm not doing this anymore, right? Well, I mean, Any grown adult can leave whenever you want. You don't have to sit in that chair. You can get up and walk out. You can't control what they're going to say after you do that, you know? I mean, and this is where Nik Avocado probably should never have entertained doing this interview to begin with. And this is like, well, okay, I hope all of this brought you some different viewership and some different money for all these antics to build this all up for there not to be anything, you know, in the end. So I think, you know, Nik Avocado would be an interesting interview, but I wonder who he trusts enough because if you're going to interview Nik Avocado, who sits there and monetizes weight gain on YouTube and mukbanging and all this kind of stuff and talking about, you know, hitting certain weights and all that kind of stuff and pushes his OnlyFans on his YouTube channel. How do you interview somebody about their career on YouTube and not ask about those things that are fundamental and paramount to what they do? Like, I'm really asking. Like, I mean, if I was gonna interview Nik Avocado and he said, you can't ask me about this and you can't ask me, I'd be like, what's the point of the interview? Like, those are the things that people are going to want to know. And if you're not going to allow somebody to interview you with the tough questions. Now, there's a difference between being asked the tough questions and being humiliated. Those are two completely different things. You know, I would be afraid if I were Nik to go on the podcast and not be humiliated, because are the questions going to be asked or responded to in a degrading way? That would be the fear, I think, like if I were Nik. But who would you do an interview with? Who would you do an interview with that you wouldn't be afraid to answer those questions and actually sit down and have an intellectual conversation with about that? Because Nik is somebody that intrigues me to wonder, like, are you not concerned about your health? Are you not concerned about all this weight gain at the expense of doing these videos? I'm being completely sincere here, you know? Like, are you not concerned about this huge weight gain that, you know, at this point, and blah, 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 and faking these relationship issues online? I mean, those are things that I take very seriously, that for somebody to, like, troll or mock, to me, like, I would want to know, do you consider it trolling or mocking? Why do you push the envelope on this stuff? Why do you see that as entertainment? Those are questions that I would want to ask. Who is somebody that Nik Avocado trusts, you know, that is an interviewer that would be willing, that he'd be willing to sit down and do that interview with, you know? I don't know. Interesting. So don't ask me, because I ain't got the money to pay you, okay? I'll interview you for free, but I don't have the money to pay you anything. So if you want to do the interview, I'll do it with you, but not for, I can't pay you anything, okay? I could give you a bottle of poopery because I got enough of that sitting around. Reiterates most points already listed, how it's not worth going into a lion's den, okay, and how most of Ethan's stands don't like him. Not excited about this anymore, so you know what? Let's listen to my gut. I know, you blew it. The end. Then they said, this might have gone on for too long, but whatever. I'd hate to see any misinformation going around about this. I apologize if I did not explain myself well enough in some parts, or if I misunderstand parts of the video. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'm going to get, they're going to get baked and rethink their life choices. Okay, good idea. Please don't, is it somebody knocking on my door? Please don't ask me to share the video for obvious reasons, seriously. And then note, it says, I do not believe Ethan nor Nik deserve any form of harassment over this. There's a productive middle ground to be had where maybe we can learn something new or acknowledge a different perspective. Please offer me some consideration and don't be mean. With peace and love. And then it says, edit, in case anybody demands for proof while I'm asleep. And then it links to something. Okay, somebody said, thanks for taking one for the team and watching it. So everybody wanted to know what my opinion is about this. If all of that is true, here's my opinion, okay? I do not think that it is a bad idea for Nik Avocado to not go on Ethan Klein's podcast, period, okay? If I were Nik Avocado, with the concerns that he has, and him being honest and saying, you know, what was the word that he used? Maybe it's my, how did he say it? Hold on, I want to get him, say it correctly. Hold on. Talking about he doesn't want to be belittled and the boundaries that he doesn't feel comfortable setting, and that he talked about, you know, his insecurities. I understand that. Like, I 100% understand that. Don't put yourself in a position that you don't want to be ridiculed, you don't want to be humiliated. Hey, I think that's 100%. You never should have agreed to do the interview. Period, end of story. It's business. It's YouTube business. You never should have agreed to do the interview from the beginning, okay? Nik Avocado is not 19 years old. Nik Avocado is a grown adult, and he should never have agreed to do the interview and all of the buildup just to come out at the last last part and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's bad business. It's horribly bad business. And I also think that, I mean, not that he really cares and he says this is this trashy career. I don't consider this a trashy career. I really don't. And that makes me sad because that's how he perceives himself in what he does. I feel beyond blessed and beyond honored that I have people that on a daily basis want to watch my videos, which is why I don't troll and do all that kind of stuff, because I feel like you're taking advantage of your audience. And I talk about that on a regular basis when I talk about these people over here. You know, I care about the people that watch my videos. I feel honored and blessed that people want to watch my videos. So when you consider your career or your YouTube career to be trashy, you are the trash that is the part of your trashy career, right? How you handle yourself in that. And I mean, I think we've all had our moments, but it's like, who do you aim to be at the end of the day, right? Well, canceling interviews at the end of the day is, maybe you should have taken your concerns to Ethan Klein and said, here's the deal that I want in the contract. I'll do the interview with you, but here are my boundaries. I don't want to be degraded or be degraded. I don't want to be degraded. I don't want to be humiliated. I don't want to be made fun of. And I'll do this interview with you, but I get to watch it back first. And if there is anything in there that I have an issue with, I want it edited out. And if there's anything that I have an issue with, I don't want it posted. And I want to have final control over the interview. And at least have had that conversation with Ethan. To just cancel at the last minute and put it behind a paywall, yeah, that is trashy. Why wouldn't you just put it on YouTube where you were going to do the interview and say, here's the reasons why I'm not going to go on it? That's trashy to your fans. That's trashy to your audience that has watched you, that doesn't have $24 to spend on your Patreon, that was excited about watching this interview to see a different side of Nik Avocado where he was going to be interviewed by somebody else. So they were excited about that. Not Ethan's fans, not H3's fans, but your fans, Nick. You didn't give them that opportunity and you didn't give them the response that they deserved on your own YouTube channel. You put it behind a paywall. And yeah, that is trashy. You shouldn't have done that. And I think everybody in the world knows that the reason that you did that was to make a little coin. And I hope that you did, okay? But this is a moment where when you know better, you do better. And you learn from this and you grow up. You know? So no, I don't blame Nick for not doing the interview. I think he should have talked to Ethan about it and boundaries that he wanted set with that, and he didn't trust the boundaries, and I get that. But it's bad business at the same point, you know? And now what you've done is you've given Ethan complete control over responding to this however he wants and saying whatever he wants to say. And trust me, Ethan will probably take this and run with this for a while. And that's your doing, okay? And it's not going to gain you any popularity. Trust, like I'm sitting here like he's watching my video. Anyway, that's my opinion. That's what I think. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.